Welcome to The Doctor Is In, everyone, your daily guide to virtual care in this time of the coronavirus. I'm Dr. Freddie Gomez, and we're answering your questions over the next half hour. Quarantine restrictions are easing everywhere. Here in Metro Manila and in other parts of the country, we are now under a general community quarantine. Some establishments, offices, and public transportations will be operational, but with limitations. And because of this, we need to be more mindful and careful when outdoors. Let's go back to basics and discuss how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And we also want to talk about how we can build a stronger immune system. Now, we have a guest for this part of the show, but we're still trying to get him on. We're still trying to deal with some technical difficulties. But while we're trying to do that, let us answer some social media questions. So, we have our first question from Jet Ruiz. Jet Ruiz is asking, mas epektibo pa rin po ba ang hand washing kumpara sa paggamit ng alcohol? That's a very good question, Jet. At marami pa rin ang nagtatanong ng question na yan, ano? Because it is much convenient to use alcohol. It's more readily available. But what you want pa rin, if you have the option, kung meron kayong pagpipilian, hand washing, kung nandyan po ang lababo at tubig at sabon sa harapan nyo at yung alcohol, go for the hand washing. It is a more effective way in trying to get rid of any harmful pathogens on your hands, and that includes viruses as well. But hindi lang hand washing ang pinaka-importante dyan. Just as important is the proper way in doing hand washing. So very quick, how doctors do it is, it comes second nature. There are 6 steps to hand washing. Ano? First is, you get the soap. Of course, you have to wet your hands, get the soap. Ideally, ang sabon na gusto nyo, kung may antibacterial, that's good. But any good quality soap is okay. So what you want to do is you have to lather the soap palm to palms. After you, paghugas from palm to palm, ang gagawin nyo, yung likod ng kamay. Likod ng kamay. Pagkatapos ng likod ng kamay, step 3, in between fingertips. After that, after in between the fingers, what you do is you cup your hands because what you want is at the back of the hands. So when you're doing that, you're cupping that, do it on the other side as well. Next step, the thumbs naman. Ikutin nyo habang naghugas. You have 2 thumbs, so left and right, gagawin nyo. Then the last step, the 6th step, is what you want is the fingertip. So
Daliri. So those are the 6 steps. Very, very. After a while, you'll get used to that. It'll only take probably around a minute and a half, probably 90 seconds to do the proper hand washing. So, doing alcohol, using an antiseptic and alcohol is okay. What you want is at least 70% isopropyl alcohol to disinfect your hands. If you are washing your hands, please wash them properly. Okay? So we have our guest on the line. Okay, do we have our guest on the line? I couldn't hear from control.
Okay, this is great. So for our guest today, to talk about how to have a stronger immune system and how to prevent the spread of COVID-19, we have Dr. Joel Lopez, who is an integrative medicine specialist. Welcome to the show, Dr. Lopez.
Thank you, Dr. Freddie.
Yes, great.
How are you?
So, Joel, now that the general community quarantine is being implemented in some areas of the countries, what are the health precautions that the public should be mindful about?
Yeah, so first off, they should observe the usual recommendations made by the government, such as social distancing, wearing masks, and of course, proper hygiene. But those would provide just like, what do you call this? Just not enough security. So if you really want to be ready for possible onslaught or exposure to infections, what you need to do is to really boost your immune system.
So you explained how the immune system is definitely important for that. Could you explain to us and the viewers how we can protect ourselves and others from this infection?
Yeah, first off, you gotta start with the basic things such as an optimal diet. So basically, I would recommend an anti-inflammatory or plant-based diet because it's um, it's basically full of micronutrients that would actually help improve our resistance to infection. Then getting enough sleep is also important because at night we secrete a hormone called melatonin, and melatonin is an immune modulator. Basically, it also helps balance our immune system. Another thing is proper hydration and also dealing with chronic stress. When we're under a lot of stress, basically the stress hormone cortisol is secreted, which actually suppresses the immune system. So we got to do certain things to help boost basically boost our strength, uh, so that we'll be able to fight off the infection. Things that you could do to help lower stress include relaxation. Some do exercise.
Okay.
Some just do um, like other stress reduction procedures, such as deep breathing exercises. So these are among the things that you could do
Okay, that's
lifestyle wise to help improve your immune system. Then, of course, there are supplements that could actually help boost the immune system. And these include antioxidants such as vitamin C, D3, minerals such as zinc and selenium, and different bioflavonoids that you derive um, from plant compounds such as quercetin.
okay. That's really good advice, Joel. We'll discuss more about that, especially on the antioxidants part. But when we return, a strong immune system will help us fight disease. We'll discuss the various natural and alternative ways to achieve this. Stay tuned to the Doctor's In. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Doctor's In. I'm Dr. Freddie Gomez. We want to make the most out of your telemedicine appointment today. So please do send in your questions because we want to hear from you. We're talking about strengthening our immune system, especially now that the GCQ or the General Community Quarantine is in effect. Pag-usapan naman natin ang kung ano ang mga natural immune boosters. Hindi lang ito tungkol sa pagkain, but it's also about your overall lifestyle. We have Dr. Joel Lopez, who is an integrative medicine specialist. Joel, please do tell us more about natural immune boosters.
Yeah, this natural immune boosters actually derived from plant-based material. So basically, among the more popular ones, especially in the Philippines, include ginger. So it could be prepared as a tea, and we call it salabat. So what it does is that it actually lowers inflammatory factors such as interleukin 6 and the C-reactive protein. So a certain nutrient called turmeric also does the same thing. And turmeric, by the way, also has some antiviral properties. We also got immune boosting fats. For instance, we could get it from omega 3 fatty acids derived from fish oils. We could also get it from olive oil as well as um, virgin coconut oil. So these are substances that have anti inflammatory and immune boosting properties. Then, supplement wise, if you can't get
Right.
it
So
enough from, yeah,
go ahead. You were
yeah,
you
so
were mentioning something.
Yeah, so ideally we should get all our nutrients from our food. But nowadays, even if you ate 100% organic, you won't be able to get all the nutrients that your body needs. And this is because of the way we farm. So instead of doing biodynamic farming, which is ideal, what most people do is plant the same crops every year. And what happens is that it depletes our soil of certain minerals or nutrients. So biodynamic farming, or otherwise known as crop rotation, otherwise, yeah. So basically, what it does is that it could prevent mineral deficiencies in the soil. So nowadays, we really need to supplement
All right. So
because we cannot get, yeah. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
saying
so
we cannot
let's
get.
talk a little bit more about supplements. But right, we'll talk about supplements. But before we do that, we know that the primary role of our immune system is to defend us from harmful particles and things just like viruses. And a lot of the medicines that you, or a lot of the ingredients that you mentioned, have the properties of anti-inflammatory factors. For
Yeah.
that matter, could you explain to us what happens to our immune system when it's faced with COVID-19?
Yeah, basically what happens is that the virus would enter our cells where it would replicate. So without entering our cells, it actually won't be able to replicate. It won't multiply. So it does this because it has some type of parasitic type of or it depends basically on our own cells to multiply. So the same thing that goes on with transcription of viruses, it has to depend on a lot of organelles in our bodies to be able to do that. So without these, without entering into the cells, it
Okay.
actually won't it won't do anything.
All right. So now let's answer some social media questions brought about from our viewers. We have one from Jing. She's asking, now that general community quarantine is being implemented, should we take more supplements as additional protection from the virus?
Yeah, I would say so because especially during the period of quarantine, we're not able to get enough sunlight, which would cause a vitamin D deficiency. So, vitamin D is not only a vitamin, it's also a prohormone and an immune modulator. It basically could kill parasites and viruses and bacteria through the production of something called um, antimicrobial peptides. So, if we're not going to get enough sun, then you could actually supplement with a vitamin D. Usually, I would recommend 2,000 up to 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 taken after meals. It's best to have your levels taken prior to taking supplements, but if you can't do that, you could take 2,000 IUs safely of vitamin D3. Other nutrients that you could do to help bolster your immune system include vitamin C, which is not only an antioxidant, it's also an immune modulator similar to D3, as well as an antiviral. But it's important that you take it early at the onset of symptoms. So timing is really important, as well as the dosage of the vitamin D that you take. So the recommended daily allowance of
Okay.
vitamin C rather, is only 75 milligrams in women and 90 milligrams in men. So this dose would actually prevent scurvy, but it doesn't do much as far as improving your immune system or fighting off viruses in your body. So I would recommend at least 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C in divided doses ideally, or you could take more if your body doesn't react to the vitamin C, because a lot of people could develop bowel intolerance or soft stools if they're taking too much vitamin C. And then, of course, vitamin C could also be given
Okay.
intravenously.
So right.
Yeah.
So I guess another thing, Joel, when taking vitamin C, also it's best to have themselves checked first with a doctor, make sure everything's okay, especially when taking higher doses of the recommended dose of vitamin C. All right. We have
Yes.
another question, Joel, actually. This one is from Jill. Ano po ang antioxidants? Can it help boost our immune system?
Yeah, basically, antioxidants are molecules that fight off free radicals. If you have too many free radicals, it could cause excess oxidative stress. And these free radicals, what it does is that it damages normal cells in the body. So if you don't have enough of these antioxidants, it would actually cause damage to your cells, causing problems like tumors, which is an underlying, which whose underlying cause could be a lack of antioxidants.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and your tips, Dr. Joel Lopez, and for joining us and giving our viewers those advice on how to build or how to boost their immune system.
Thank you so much, Dr. Freddie.
Okay, and we'll pause for a quick break, but when we return, we'll talk about how experts are looking at this ordinary household ingredient as a possible treatment for COVID-19. Find out this household ingredient when we come back. Welcome to the Doctors In. We are answering your questions about COVID 19. Earlier, we talked about natural and holistic ways to make our immune systems stronger. This time, let's discuss the benefits of virgin coconut oil or VCO and why experts think it can possibly treat COVID 19. Joining us now is Dr. Fabian Dayrit, who is the president of the Integrated Chemists of the Philippines and a proponent of virgin coconut oil as a safe antiviral agent for COVID 19. Welcome to the show, Dr. Dayrit.
Hello, hi, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now, Dr. Dayrit, what properties does VCO have that is beneficial to our immune system?
VCO contains, when it's metabolized in the body, releases compounds which are antiviral and also immunomodulating. In the case of VCO, it releases monolaurin and lauric acid. And it's been shown in vitro studies that these compounds are able to destroy the viral coat of the virus. So, well, these studies have been done on other viruses. So what we need to do now is to test them on COVID-19 itself.
Okay, and you, Dr. Dayrit, have been part of a research on trying to be able to push the level of knowledge that we have on the properties of VCO. Could you tell us about your research about VCO and what makes it therapeutic for COVID-19 patients specifically?
Well, what we did when this virus first broke out in January was we reviewed all of the literature that was available, all the studies that have been done on coconut oil and its components, which have been done maybe even 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And we found out that there was considerable information on the compounds that VCO releases when it's ingested in the body. And these compounds have work by two basic mechanisms. One mechanism is that they destroy the viral membrane in a similar way that washing your hands would destroy virus when you wash your hands. And the second mechanism is that it retards the maturation or inhibits the maturation of the virus when it has entered the cell. This is a mechanism which many other drugs actually do, that the virus is inside the cell and that these compounds inhibit the maturation of the virus so they don't get released anymore.
Okay, now let's answer some social media questions, if you will, Dr. Dayrit. We have one from Vince, who is asking, will light smearing of VCO inside the nostrils prevent COVID-19 virus attachment?
Well, that's actually a very interesting and potentially effective treatment. We've been thinking about this. I guess the challenge here is how to distribute the oil evenly in your nostrils and in the nasopharyngeal tract. So certainly, I think it will help because of the antiviral properties of VCO. What we haven't done is the clinical study to show exactly how effective this will be. But I think it's a good precaution against COVID-19.
Okay, I guess more research is for that, but definitely something
Yes.
really interesting to check out. We have another
Yes,
question from Manel. If the use of VCO gets approved, how will it be administered to patients?
Well, right now, we are testing VCO orally. So, for example, there's a study by FNRI, which is being done in Santa Rosa, where they give 3 tablespoons a day, 1 tablespoon after each meal, to PUMs. And the idea here is to test whether the VCO is able to retard or prevent the infection by COVID-19. We're still waiting for other studies on COVID patients. So these would be therapeutic, but those studies have not started yet.
Okay, so at least hopefully those studies do get started because well, we definitely want to know ano yung dosage, how is it best prepared, how is it best administered to a patient. Now we
Yes,
have another
yes.
question from Angelo. Since isa tayo sa top producers ng niyog sa buong mundo, mas magiging mura po ba ang gamot na ito? Or mas magiging mura ba ang VCO because of this?
Well, sana yun ang mangyari dahil um, actually ang Pilipinas siguro ang top exporter. Yung pinakamalaking producer ng VCO would be this would be the bigger country. So siguro halimbawa Indonesia, population na mas malaki. So syempre mas marami silang coconut. Sa Pilipinas, syempre ang mga limitations natin ay dapat talaga palaguin natin yung industriya ng niyog at pati yung technology ng paggawa ng VCO. So sana kung tumaas yung demand at saka yung pagtatanim ng yung pag-aani ng niyog, sana bababa naman ang presyo ng VCO. Pero sa ngayon, hindi naman siya ganong kamahal. At syempre mas mura pa ito sa mga gamot na bibili mo na kunyari kung nag-ano ka ng gamot para sa COVID-19, mas mura pa rin ang VCO.
Okay. Now, before we go, Dr. Dayrit, really quickly, could you give us an update on nasa na po kayo sa study ninyo? Ano po yung status ng mga clinical trials nyo with VCO and COVID-19?
Well, tulad ng sinabi ko sa inyo, yung we have ongoing studies. Well, actually, hindi ako. Yung FNRI, this is the Food and Nutrition Research Institute ng Department of Science and Technology, ay kasalukuyang merong study on dun sa Santa Rosa sa yung mga quarantined patients. Ngayon, nagre-recruit sila, kasalukuyang nagre-recruit, and I think they need to reach about 100 patients pagkatapos yung process nila yung data. So sana mga 2-3 linggo malalaman natin ang resulta nun. At sana mas simulan na rin yung mga clinical studies.
Nasa recruitment phase pa lang tayo, Dr. Dayrit, so it will be some time pa rin bago natin makuha yung results ng study. But thank you very much, Dr. Dayrit, for joining us today and sharing your knowledge and giving us the latest updates with regards to virgin coconut oil.
Sige, salamat din.
And thank you also to our viewers for sending in your questions. Maraming pong salamat. We look forward to see you again tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. only here on CNN Philippines. I'm Dr. Freddie Gomez. Ingat po tayong lahat. Have a good day.